I supported my fiancée through her career, only for her to leave me once she got a promotion. Now 6 months later, she's asking me to take her back after she got fired. I'm 32, male, and I've learned a lot about life the hard way. For 7 years, I was with my fiancée. 7 long years where I thought I was building a future, only to realize I'd been building a bridge for her to walk right over me. I never saw it coming, not the way it all unraveled. And looking back now, maybe I was stupid, too trusting, too willing to believe that people will appreciate what you do for them. Spoiler, they don't. She was ambitious. God, was she ambitious. From the day I met her, she had a fire in her eyes, and I admired that. At first, it was attractive, seeing someone so determined to get ahead in their career. She worked in marketing, and when we started dating, she was just getting her foot in the door at some mid-level firm. I was already doing all right, working in finance, earning enough to support both of us while she built her career, and I was happy to do it. I loved her, or at least I thought I did, and I wanted to see her succeed. The thing is, it didn't take long for that ambition to start feeling less like a shared dream and more like a competition. I was busting my ass at work, coming home late, paying most of the bills while she was working on herself. She'd pick up freelance gigs here and there, and I'd help with that too, proofreading her presentations, brainstorming ideas, even doing some of her research. And it was fine at first because I thought we were a team. But then slowly, I started to notice how it was all about her. Everything was about her career, her goals. When I had a rough day, it was, "Babe, I'm too stressed to talk about that right now, or we'll talk later. I'm working on this project," but I swallowed it. Every single time. Because I thought that's what you do when you love someone, right? You put them first. You make sacrifices. I figured once she got where she wanted to be, things would settle down. She'd realize how much I had done for her, and we'd finally start building the life we talked about. Marriage, maybe kids, a house somewhere outside the city. But none of that happened. Instead, the moment she got that big promotion, her first executive-level job, she changed. Overnight. Like flipping a switch. 1 minute we were planning a future, and the next, she was talking about reevaluating our relationship and needing space to figure out what she really wanted. I couldn't believe it. After everything, after all the years of support, she just threw me away. Like I was some disposable stepping stone she'd outgrown. She didn't even have the decency to sit me down for a real conversation. It was all vague bullshit about needing to find herself and wanting to focus on her career. Meanwhile, I was the idiot standing there, blindsided, asking, "But what about us? What about everything we've built?" She looked at me with this expression that I'll never forget, like I was the one being unreasonable. "I can't make this about us right now," she said, like she wasn't just ripping my heart out, like I was the one asking for too much. The kicker? She didn't even ask me to move out. I had to offer to leave because she needed time to figure things out. And stupidly I did. I packed my bags and left the apartment I'd been paying for because I thought maybe if I gave her space, she'd come around. Maybe she'd realize what she was losing. That was 6 months ago. For the first few weeks, I barely heard from her. A few text messages here and there, vague updates about how work was crazy and she needed to focus. Meanwhile, I was crashing on my buddy's couch, trying to pick up the pieces. I didn't want to believe it was over. Part of me kept thinking, this can't be it. Not after all the time, the years I invested. Surely she'd come to her senses. But she didn't. A month after I left, I found out from a mutual friend that she'd been seeing someone else. Some hotshot from her office. Apparently, they'd been going out for weeks, maybe even before she told me she needed space. That's when it finally hit me. She wasn't confused, she wasn't figuring out her life. She'd already moved on. And that was it. No apology, no real closure. Just a text one day saying, "I think we should both move on." Like it was some mutual decision. Like she hadn't already moved on the minute her career took off. I was devastated. I mean, how do you come back from that? How do you spend years of your life helping someone only for them to cut you loose the moment they don't need you anymore? It felt like everything I thought I knew about her, about us, had been a lie. But life goes on, right? So, I started picking up the pieces, trying to rebuild. I threw myself into work, hit the gym, reconnected with friends. It wasn't easy, but slowly, I started to feel like myself again. And I told myself I was done with her for good. Then 6 months later, she showed up. I was at my apartment, finally in a decent place mentally when my phone buzzed. It was her. The first message I'd gotten in months. "Can we talk?" I stared at the screen for what felt like an eternity. Part of me wanted to delete the message and move on. But the other part, The part that had spent 7 years loving her, needed to know why. Why was she reaching out now? So, I agreed to meet her. We met at this little cafe near my place. The moment I walked in, I could tell something was off. She looked different. Not in a good way. There was this desperate energy about her, like she was barely holding it together. She smiled when she saw me, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Hey," she said, like we were old friends catching up, like she hadn't shattered my life 6 months ago. "Hey," I said, keeping my tone flat. I wasn't here to play nice. She fidgeted with her cup, not meeting my gaze. Finally, after a long, awkward silence, she looked up. I've been thinking a lot about us. About what happened." I just stared at her, waiting for her to continue. She took a deep breath. "I made a mistake. A huge mistake. That caught me off guard. I didn't expect her to admit it, at least not so easily. But I wasn't ready to let her off the hook." "You mean dumping me as soon as you got promoted?" I asked, my voice cold. She winced. "I know how it looks. But things were so crazy back then. I was under so much pressure, and I didn't handle it well. I thought I needed space to focus on my career, but you didn't need space to hook up with some guy from your office?" She looked down, her face flushing. That was a mistake, too. It didn't mean anything. I was confused, and I cut her off. "Confused? You were fucking someone else behind my back while I was sleeping on a couch, hoping you'd come around. That wasn't confusion, that was you moving on." She bit her lip, tears welling up in her eyes. But I wasn't about to feel sorry for her. Not after everything. "I got fired," she blurted out suddenly. That took me by surprise. I hadn't heard anything about her losing her job. She'd always been the golden child at her company, the one who could do no wrong. "What happened?" I asked, not because I cared, but because I was curious. There were some issues. Politics, really. They brought in a new executive, and things got messy. Long story short, I'm out. I'm a mess right now. She looked at me, her eyes pleading. "I need you. I need us." I let that hang in the air for a moment, my anger simmering just beneath the surface. So that was it. She didn't miss me. She missed the safety net I'd always provided. Now that her career had tanked, she was coming back, hoping I'd catch her when she fell. "Are you serious right now?" I asked, leaning forward. "You ghosted me for 6 months, left me to pick up the pieces of our relationship while you fucked some other guy, and now, because you lost your job, you want me to take you back." She blinked, her face crumbling. "It's not like that, I swear. I realized how much I took you for granted. I was so focused on my career, I lost sight of what really mattered." "Which is what, exactly? Me? Or the fact that you don't have anyone else left to pick up the pieces?" She started crying, full-on sobbing into her hands. A year ago, that would have broken me. I would have felt guilty, like I had to fix things, had to make her feel better. But not anymore. "I can't do this," I said, standing up. "Please," she choked out through her tears, reaching out to grab my hand as I stood. "I need you. I know I made mistakes, but we can fix this. We can go back to how it was." I pulled my hand away, feeling a mixture of disbelief and anger bubbling up inside me. "Back to how it was? You mean back to me busting my ass while you do whatever the hell you want? Back to me being your emotional punching bag when things get tough?" She shook her head frantically, wiping away tears. No. I know I was wrong. I was under so much pressure, and I pushed you away. But I'm different now. I know what's important. You're different." I couldn't help the sarcastic chuckle that escaped. "You're only here because you've hit rock bottom, and I'm your safety net. Don't stand there and act like this is about love or some epiphany you've had. You're here because you don't have a job, you're alone, and you think I'll just take you back because I used to love you." Her face twisted, and for a moment, the tears stopped. There it was, the entitlement, the expectation that I'd still be waiting for her, ready to catch her whenever she fell. "That's not fair," she snapped, her voice sharp now. "I know I made mistakes, but we were together for 7 years. Doesn't that count for something? Don't I get a chance to make things right?" "You had that chance," I said, my voice low but firm. "You had that chance the day I walked out of our apartment, and you didn't even look back. You moved on the second you thought you didn't need me anymore. And now, because life didn't go your way, you want me to clean up the mess." She opened her mouth to argue, but I wasn't done. "You used me. You used me to get ahead, and when you didn't need me anymore, you threw me away. I wasn't your partner, I was a convenience. And now that your golden boy's gone, and you've lost the job, you come crawling back, expecting me to take you in? Are you hearing yourself right now?" Her eyes narrowed, the vulnerability fading from her expression, replaced by something colder. "So that's it? After everything we've been through, you're just going to walk away?" You can't even give me a chance to explain. I leaned in, my voice tight with anger. Explain what? That you used me as a stepping stone. That when you finally got what you wanted, I became disposable. You think I'm that stupid? She flinched, and for a second, I thought I saw something else flicker in her eyes. Guilt? Shame? Maybe. But it didn't matter. I'd seen enough. I'd given enough. Please, she said again, her voice softer now, like she was trying a different tactic. I know I hurt you. I know I've made mistakes, but I want to fix it. I want to make things right. Right for who? I asked, not buying it. You or me? She didn't answer right away. Instead, she just looked at me, her eyes searching my face like she was trying to figure out what would get me to change my mind. But there was nothing left for her to find. I think you should go, I said, my voice calm now. There's nothing here for you anymore. She blinked, stunned, as if she couldn't believe I was really ending it. Just like that. Just like that, I repeated. I'm done. I've moved on. For a moment, she just stood there, her lips pressed together, her chest rising and falling as she tried to steady her breath. Then she grabbed her bag and stood up, her face twisting in anger again. You'll regret this, she hissed, her eyes flashing. You think you're so much better than me? You think I'm the only one who made mistakes? You're not perfect either. You're just too much of a coward to admit it. I stared at her, unmoved. Maybe. But at least I'm not trying to manipulate someone into taking me back because I'm scared of being alone. That hit a nerve. Her face flushed red, and for a second, I thought she might slap me. But she didn't. Instead, she gave me one last glare before turning on her heel and storming out of the cafe, the door slamming shut behind her. I stood there for a moment, letting the weight of everything settle in. I should have felt some kind of satisfaction, some kind of closure. But all I felt was tired, drained, like I had finally closed a chapter that should have ended a long time ago. I paid for my coffee and walked out, the cold air hitting my face as I stepped onto the sidewalk. It was strange, really, how quiet everything felt after such an intense confrontation. I walked back to my apartment in silence, my mind oddly blank. I thought about everything that had happened in the last year. The promotion, the breakup, the months of self-doubt and anger. I thought about how much I had given, how much I had sacrificed for someone who, in the end, only cared about herself. And yet, as much as I wanted to feel angry, I couldn't. Not anymore. I was done being angry. Done being hurt. I had already spent too much energy on someone who didn't deserve it. By the time I got home, I felt lighter. It wasn't some dramatic revelation or epiphany. Just a quiet realization that I didn't need her anymore. I didn't need her validation, her apologies, or her guilt. I didn't need anything from her. For the first time in a long time, I felt free. It's been a few weeks since that day, and I haven't heard from her since. I don't know what she's doing, and honestly, I don't care. I'm focused on my life now, on my career, my friends, and my own happiness. Funny thing is, looking back, I don't even recognize the guy I was when I was with her. The guy who bent over backward to support someone who couldn't even give me the time of day when I needed it. The guy who thought love meant sacrificing yourself for someone else's success. I've realized something important since then. Love isn't about being someone's safety net. It's about partnership, respect, and mutual support. And if you don't have that, you don't have anything. So no, I don't regret my decision. I don't regret walking away. If anything, I regret not doing it sooner. As for her, I hope she figures her life out. I really do. But that's not my problem anymore. And it never will be again.